So one of my favorite behaviors to teach horses before I get on and when I want to be able to ride horses and such is to teach them how to voluntarily line up at the mounting block. I use this as my consent start button kind of behavior where they know if they line up at the mounting block, the rider's going to get on, and if they don't line up at the mounting block, then the rider's not going to get on. So we can start establishing this through, or I guess I should say with start buttons. The thing is they have to be an established behavior. So they have to be something that the horse knows how to do. If my horse doesn't know how to line up at the mounting block on their own, then I can't use it as their indicator of whether or not they'd like a ride on because they don't know how to indicate. They don't know how to push the start button essentially. So we do this initially through a process where I give them a starting point, like the food bucket, and then I come over here and have them line up. Now, when you have a horse, good girl, that has been practicing lining up at the mounting block, this is a fairly straightforward process. Turn, yes. I start off with the feed bucket much closer than I have right here. And I just basically have them take just 1 or 2 steps forward to the mounting block. Here, I'll show you an example. So we just got just a couple steps to this mounting block right here. And I might start off on the first or second block so I'm not up as high. And then I kind of guide them into their spot. Good job. And then I feed. Walk on. Yes. Good girl. And you can see how I'm already starting to establish that walk on from the mounting block as if I was on her back because she won't have a human guiding her to walk forward on the ground once I'm in the saddle. Good girl. And I wait for her to get in the right spot. If she's a little bit back, I guide her forward and I click when she's in that spot. Good. Walk on. Yes. Now, if you have a horse, if they're having a little bit of trouble finding their spot on the mounting block or lining up straight, what you could do is walk with them initially. I'll show you how that looks. So I'm just going to give her one piece in this bucket. So I'm going to show her the start point. Then I'm going to walk with her. Walk on. Yeah. Whoop. Hello. Yep. And I'm going to guide her up. Good. And basically what we're going to do from here, walk on, is decrease how much I am assisting her. So I'm going to give her her starting point and I'm going to go just a little bit ahead. Walk on. Yeah. And then I'm going to meet her up here. Yeah, good. So she stopped a little far ahead there, but it's not too big of a deal because, walk on. Not too big of a deal because I could still mount from that position. Yes. And you could ask your horse to back up if it's too far forward. Good. I'm going to give her the start point again. And that time, I went all the way up to the mounting block and met her there. Good. Good. Okay. So, what you would just do from here, it's pretty straightforward as far as you would start stretching the mounting block and the start point further and further apart. You would also start mixing it up. So I would have my horse starting to face just slightly to the side and then come and line up, or I'd have the bucket off point so it's not a straight line. I'd start making it more and more complicated. So essentially what's going to happen is one day you could just go get on the mounting block and they could be all the way across the arena at their start point and just come line up for you at the mounting block and they would just know where to go. Okay, one more thing that I do with the mounting block before I start preparing for a rider, or I guess I should say just another one, is I start teaching the horses how to take food on the opposite side of their body. This helps for 2 different reasons. One, it can help with horses that swing their butts out like she's doing right now. I'm gonna line her back up, walk on. And also, when you're on your horse, you're going to be feeding from different parts of their, different sides of their body. And they have to know how to take that food from a rider since it won't be from the ground. So we're essentially just teaching them how to access their reinforcement from a rider, which is really important before you ever get on your horse. What will happen? Hi, why'd you go all over there? What will happen if you don't prepare them for this stage is that you'll get on and then they won't know how to get that food from the rider. So it's really important that we work on this. So I'm gonna come up here, and how I start, if I don't fall over the mounting block, is I just lean over as far as I can and take the food to the opposite side of them. And I usually tap the side, tap the side of the shoulder that I want them to take their food from. So I'm gonna tap her on that side and give her the food. Then I'm gonna tap this side and give her the food. She says, I'm getting full. Tap this side and give her the food. You'll notice I have the food in my hand when I tap. So when you're riding, you'll click, then tap, and food. And at first it takes them a little bit of time to figure out what that means. But basically the click is the bridge signal that means come to a stop. Your reinforcement's available. And then the tap is a modifier that says which side to reach around to grab the food from. So tap, food. It's also really great flexibility bending exercise as well. You did so good. And again, with a horse that's never done that before, she's done this at least 2 times before. It'll take them a minute to figure out how to get food from either side and to bend their head around to get it. But if they're struggling with you over their back or getting nervous about it, what you can do is start practicing feeding to the side like this. So I'm gonna put the food in my hand, tap this side of the shoulder, feed over here. Put the food in my hand, tap this side of the shoulder, food over here. And so I'm gonna start to teach them the tap on the side of the shoulder is the indicator of where to bend their head to. Good. Yeah. It helps when you have long arms and a flexible neck. All right, you did a good girl. All done.